The world watched in disbelief as the news broke. Nicolas Sarkozy, the former president of France, is officially heading to prison. For years, Sarkozy was one of the most powerful men in Europe, a leader who shaped French and international politics. Now, he faces a reality that few could have imagined, trading the Élysée Palace for a prison cell. But what does this dramatic fall from grace actually look like for a man who once commanded the respect of world leaders and the loyalty of millions of French citizens? The story of Sarkozy's downfall is not just about one man's fate, it's a reflection of the shifting tides in global politics, the growing demand for accountability, and the unpredictable nature of justice. As the world grapples with the implications of this unprecedented event, many are left wondering, how does a former president adapt to life behind bars, and what does this mean for the future of political power in France and beyond? The idea of a former president behind bars raises countless questions. Will Sarkozy receive special treatment, or will he be subject to the same harsh conditions as any other inmate? What kind of daily life awaits someone who once enjoyed the privileges of the highest office in the land? The contrast between the opulence of presidential life and the stark reality of prison could not be more striking. From lavish state dinners and international summits to the cold, confined space of a prison cell, Sarkozy's new existence will be defined by strict routines, limited freedoms, and a constant loss of privacy. Let's take a closer look at what lies ahead for Nicolas Sarkozy as he begins this unprecedented chapter of his life and explore the broader implications for French society, the justice system, and the global community. On September 25, 2025, history was made in a Paris courtroom. Nicolas Sarkozy became the first modern French president to be sentenced to actual prison time. The charges were serious: 5 years for criminal conspiracy, all tied to illegal campaign funds allegedly funneled from Libya during his 2007 presidential run. The verdict sent shockwaves through France and beyond as the world grappled with the reality of a former head of state being held accountable in such a dramatic fashion. The courtroom was packed with journalists, legal experts, and members of the public, all eager to witness a moment that would be etched into the annals of French history. As the judge read out the sentence, Sarkozy's expression remained stoic, but those close to him say the weight of the moment was unmistakable. For many, the conviction was a powerful statement about the rule of law and the willingness of French institutions to pursue justice, no matter how high the stakes. Sarkozy has been ordered to report to Paris's infamous La Santé prison on October 21st. Unlike many high-profile figures who might delay their sentences with endless legal maneuvers, Sarkozy must begin serving his time immediately, a testament to the gravity of his case and the determination of the French justice system to show that no one is above the law. La Santé, one of France's oldest and most secure prisons, has housed everyone from notorious criminals to political prisoners, but never before a former president. The prison itself is a symbol of both punishment and reform, its imposing walls a reminder of the consequences that come with breaking the law. As Sarkozy arrives, the world's media will be watching, capturing every moment of this historic transition from power to incarceration. The logistics of his arrival are tightly controlled, with security measures in place to prevent any incidents and to ensure the safety of both Sarkozy and the prison staff. However, Sarkozy's experience will be far from typical. For his own safety, he will be kept in a specially designated VIP wing, isolated from the general prison population. His cell, measuring just 9 square meters, will be his world for the foreseeable future. He'll have access to only 1 hour of exercise per day and will be allowed 3 tightly controlled visits each week. Meals will be simple, and every aspect of his daily routine will be strictly regulated. The isolation is designed to protect him from potential threats, but it also means he'll spend most of his time alone, with little human contact. Unlike the bustling corridors of power he once navigated, Sarkozy's new environment will be defined by silence, routine, and a sense of confinement. Even the most basic privileges, such as reading newspapers or watching television, will be subject to strict oversight. The daily monotony, punctuated only by brief moments of exercise or visitation, will be a stark contrast to the fast-paced, high-stakes world of politics he once inhabited. While these security measures are meant to prevent harassment or violence from other inmates, they come at a psychological cost. Solitary confinement, even in a so-called VIP cell, can be mentally exhausting and emotionally draining. For someone used to constant activity, public attention, and the trappings of power, the silence and monotony of prison life can be especially punishing. Experts warn that the mental health challenges faced by high-profile inmates in isolation are significant, and Sarkozy will have to find ways to cope with the stress, loneliness, and uncertainty that now define his daily existence. Studies have shown that prolonged isolation can lead to anxiety, depression, and even cognitive decline. For Sarkozy, whose life has been defined by public engagement and relentless ambition, the psychological adjustment may prove to be one of the greatest challenges he has ever faced. The French prison system does provide some mental health support, but the effectiveness of these services is often debated, especially for inmates in high security or isolated conditions. Sarkozy's ability to adapt, to find meaning and purpose in such a restricted environment, will be tested as never before. Despite his conviction, Sarkozy has not given up the fight. He continues to maintain his innocence, insisting that the charges against him are politically motivated and that he is the victim of a miscarriage of justice. His legal team has already filed an appeal, and his supporters have rallied to his defense, arguing that the case sets a dangerous precedent for French democracy. The appeal process could take months or even years, but for now, the law requires Sarkozy to begin serving his sentence while the courts consider his case. Outside the courthouse, demonstrations have erupted, with some calling for reform of the judicial system and others demanding even harsher penalties for political corruption. The debate has spilled over into the media, with commentators and legal experts weighing in on the fairness of the trial, the evidence presented, and the broader implications for the French political landscape. For Sarkozy, the legal battle is far from over, and every development is closely watched by both his supporters and his critics. French law is clear. Even as the appeals process unfolds, Sarkozy must remain behind bars unless his lawyers can secure a rare release pending appeal. His legal team is working tirelessly, exploring every possible avenue to challenge the verdict and reduce his sentence. Meanwhile, the world watches as the former president's fate hangs in the balance, a stark reminder of the power and the limits of justice in a democracy. The appeals process itself is complex, involving multiple layers of judicial review and the possibility of new evidence or legal arguments coming to light. Sarkozy's lawyers are expected to argue not only procedural errors, but also the broader context of the case, including alleged political interference and questions about the reliability of key witnesses. The outcome of the appeal could have far-reaching consequences, not just for Sarkozy, but for the entire French legal and political system. If the conviction is upheld, it will reinforce the message that no one is immune from prosecution. If overturned, it could reignite debates about judicial overreach and the politicization of justice. The impact of Sarkozy's conviction has been felt far beyond the walls of La Santé prison. In France, the news has sparked fierce debate about the integrity of the political system, the independence of the judiciary, and the future of the country's leadership. Around the world, headlines have chronicled the dramatic downfall of a once powerful figure, fueling discussions about corruption, accountability, and the rule of law. For many, Sarkozy's imprisonment is a symbol of a new era in which even the most influential leaders can be held to account. The story has dominated news cycles, with analysts drawing comparisons to other high-profile political scandals in Europe and beyond. Social media has been ablaze with opinions, memes, and heated arguments, reflecting the deep divisions within French society. Some see Sarkozy's conviction as a long-overdue reckoning, while others view it as a dangerous escalation in the politicization of justice. The international community, too, is watching closely, as the case raises important questions about the balance between political power and legal accountability in modern democracies. As Nicolas Sarkozy begins his sentence, the question on everyone's mind is what comes next. Will he eventually return to public life, seeking redemption and a political comeback? Or will he fade into obscurity, his legacy forever overshadowed by scandal and imprisonment? For now, only time will tell how this extraordinary story will end. But one thing is certain, the world will be watching every step of the way, as a former president faces the ultimate test of character, resilience, and justice. Sarkozy's journey from the heights of political power to the isolation of a prison cell is a cautionary tale for leaders everywhere, a reminder that the pursuit of power comes with immense responsibility, and that the consequences of one's actions can reverberate for years to come. As the legal process unfolds and the world continues to debate the meaning of his conviction, Sarkozy's story will remain a powerful symbol of both the fragility and the strength of democratic institutions. Whether he emerges from this ordeal humbled, defiant, or transformed, his experience will shape the future of French politics and serve as a lasting lesson for generations to come.